To enjoy conditions that will surely favour Alistair Seeley, the wee wizard, who, although he has only qualified 6th, leads the championship by 30 points from Jack Kennedy, who is ahead of his teammate at Appleyard Macadam Integro Yamaha, Brad Jones. Harry Truelove is a distant 4th ahead of Richard Kerr and Ben Wilson, while Kyle Ryde is dominating the GP2 class. The grid is headed by Jack Kennedy, 49.024 seconds, which is underneath his own existing lap record. Second place for Kyle Ryde, 49.142, which is well underneath Josh Owen's existing GP2 lap record. Brad Jones in 3rd place. Jamie Perrin, the second GP2 runner who's constantly on the GP2 podium, is in 4th place. Rory Skinner, we thought that the Scottish teenager would shine here at Knockhill. He's in 5th, and Alistair Seeley is qualified in 6th. 7th place for Lee Johnston, the junior TT winner, making a return, his occasional visit to the BSB paddock on the Ashcourt Racing Yamaha, ahead of Richard Kerr and GP2 rider Sam Wilford. And then Mason Law, a newcomer and winner at the last round in the GP2 class, is 10th, ahead of Ben Wilson's Gearlink Kawasaki and Sam Munro's Kawasaki. Sam Munro, the Munro Racing Kawasaki, is yet another of the local hotshots. Well, local, come down from Aberdeen. It's amazing how Scottish riders just pop up out of the woodwork whenever we come to Knockhill, James.
Local hotshot. Aberdeen's about as far as you are from Knockhill. That's a long way up, is that?
But he's Scottish.
Yeah, no, that's true. Yep, and we are at the kind of accepted home of Scottish motorsport here at Knockhill.
And the accepted home of Scottish weather. And we think that Charlie Nesbitt is a non-starter that's just been announced. Oh, and Rory Skinner's entered pit lane. From the 2nd row. What's going on with Rory Skinner then? Of course, okay, Rory Skinner then in pit lane. An 18-lap race here with Jack Kennedy on pole position, but he knows in these conditions he's got to get a quick start because Alistair Seeley will be the danger man. Kennedy goes for it and does go for it well, but so too does his teammate Brad Jones, and right in the middle of them, splitting them. Oh, Kennedy bravely round the outside. Oh, what a move to dive down.
Brad Jones, though.
And Brad Jones does come out at the front, but what Kennedy didn't want, I don't think, was to find Kyle Ryde in front of him. Seeley has very cleverly just squeezed through into 4th place ahead of Jamie Perrin.
Yep, fairly clean start that was for Knockhill. You're straight into Duffer's Dip. There's 3 corners altogether, and Brad Jones did really well there. He saw his teammate on the outside of him, kept it so he was on the outside of the next bend. That put him up the inside into turn 3.
So as they break now for the hairpin then, the first of 15 laps. This is the Supersport sprint race here. That kid, Sam Munro, I said that the lad from Aberdeen, really breaking hard, almost going underneath championship leader Alistair Seeley. Jack Kennedy is trying to get underneath Brad Jones, but decides better of it. Yeah,
well, if you've raced around here and for any length of time, you will race in the wet, and Munro will know his way around here in the wet. Absolutely.
So on the 2nd lap of 15 then, Jack Kennedy leads the way, beg your pardon, his 2nd place. Brad Jones leads the way. Kyle Ryde in 3rd. Alistair Seeley running there in 4th with Munro behind him. So the 2 Integro Yamahas, one of them with a very clear visor and the other without, come keeling through his now.
Munro's now in front of Seeley. I think Seeley's down to 5th, and I'm surprised Seeley hasn't got going a bit quicker than this.
Yeah, I thought these conditions would really suit Alistair Seeley. We've seen some brilliant performances from him in the past. But you're right, he has dropped back behind Sam Munro, and Munro now is taking off after Kyle Ryde. So the boy from Aberdeen, number 64, making an instant name for himself. There's number 13, Lee Johnston. There's number 7, Richard Kerr. Kerr running in 8th place. And number 47 has slowed right
Jake
up.
Archer, I think.
Jake Archer on the Cavara projects by RS Racing Kalex. So a problem for the Ryan Saxelby GP2 bike.
Yeah, whatever it is, it hasn't blown up. That, I suspect he's going to be water in the works, that is. Come on.
the two Yamahas looking well. I mean, you've got to concentrate every inch of the way, but they're looking comfortable, James.
Yeah, so is Sam Monroe. He's just gone up the inside of Kyle Ryde. He's into third now. He's the local kid. Good lad. There he is. Look at that.
Kyle Ryde decides he's going to give him a bit back.
Yeah, but do you know what? That was because Sam Monroe actually just got in a bit too deep there. That allowed Kyle Ryde back. Well, nothing wrong with the speed of the locals bike. Got to say, good that.
So the Aberdeen boy then drops down into turn one, and down that sharp drop, he's running in third place, possible podium. 77 Kyle Ryde, of course, leading the GP2 class. Just behind him, Alistair Seeley, and then Lee Johnston. I suppose Lee Johnston's going to enjoy these conditions as well. And you get the feeling that at the moment, Jack Kennedy, fastest lap, 54.914, is fairly comfortable sitting in there behind Brad Jones. You'd think he might prefer to have a sprayless view of the track, but he seems happy enough. Yeah, definitely thinking the championship both the riders at the front, Brad and Jack, but Jack probably more so. He'll be looking at they'll have a plan with his crew, looking at his signal board. He'll be telling him, I'm fairly sure, where Seeley is the championship leader, is sitting. Seeley was challenging just then into the hairpin, and he's gone past Kyle Ryde. Lee Johnston on the lovely blue Ashcourt racing bike follows through as well. So Seeley now is beginning to make a move. Sam Monroe has won the last 14 club races here at Knockhill. We can see why. Yes. He's going like Sting. And the last 14 club races here at Knockhill, he's probably going to be in conditions just like this, yeah. So yes. So he's going to be well familiar with where to be on this circuit. Number 13, Lee Johnston. I've always said to him before he turned to the roads, I says, mate, you could be really good on short circuits. Remember, he won a Superstock 600 championship, the British Championship, some years ago. Rode really well on a Stocktown, on a Ducati at the time. Diced with people like PJ Jacobson and others. He was a really... He's fast pretty much on everything, and on every circuit he's Lee. Specialises on the roads now, but there's no question when he comes back to short circuits, he's got the medal. I think it was actually PJ Jacobson that snatched the win off him when he got the Ducati in the dirt coming out of Goddard. That's the one everyone remembers. But he had a good season on that bike, yes. And probably not the bike to have the time, in my opinion. So these two have a lead at the moment of about close to 4 seconds over Monroe. Seeley, though, threatens in 4th place. 5th for Johnston, 6th overall for Kyle Ryde. And hats off to Rory Skinner, who, I mean, started from pit lane, has pushed through to 11th place, just behind Mason Lorne, ahead of Bradley Peary. Yeah, great little rider, Rory Skinner. Should have got a fair future. And these two looking, well, very calm and dominant in these filthy conditions. 6 laps out of 15 complete, and you can see that Seeley is pretty close behind Monroe in the background. Yeah, well, let's see what happens to the man in second there, number 1, Jack Kennedy, because I'm fairly sure if Seeley gets through and gets into third, I think we'll find that Jack Kennedy will take off, pass his teammate and try and get away. And that unhappy-looking character who's just been overtaken was number 41, Alan Naylor, on the Donkey Box Racing Yamaha. And there in the background, there's the guy who's being lapped, Naylor. Here comes number 64, Monroe, and then you've got the two Northern Irishmen, Alistair Seeley and Lee Johnston. Yeah, Seeley and Johnston lapping exactly the same pace, 54 6s, 54 2s for your front men. There's Kennedy up the inside, clean move, and I thought that was a matter of time, actually. Let's see what Brad Jones can do now. And as they come howling up the hill, this is Kennedy then. He set the fastest lap of the race on the last lap, 54.276. And he now has the clear view of the track and the potential to take 25 points after this race, which is what he desperately must need. Yeah. And also he needs Brad Jones to start doing this and sticking himself between himself and Seeley. Yeah. More backbackers, difficult riding in these conditions if you're not used to them. It can be a big difference in the fastest men and the slowest men in conditions like this, a lot more than there ever is going to be in the dry. We did meet up with a couple of extremely enthusiastic Brad Jones supporters on the way back to the car park yesterday evening. We did. He's the man, he's the future, he'll be in the World Championships any day soon. And who'd argue with that? Well, they're going to be in World Supersport next. The pair of these lads at the front, Jack and Brad, next week at Donington. Oh, are they both? Yeah, both got wildcards, yeah. So Kennedy then neck and neck with Jones. Brad Jones thinking slightly better as they go into the 9th lap of 15. And just staying in there behind Jack Kennedy. It's a difficult one for Brad Jones. Obviously, he wants to make the most of his own championship chances, really. But he knows that Kennedy is the man who...
Well, I asked the team principal, team manager, Robin Appleyard yesterday, team orders. He goes, no team orders. we're not getting sort of into that. So it's every man for himself in terms of the Integro Macadam Appleyard team. Here we go.
So as they come, this is, oh, look at Seeley, isn't he? Beautiful, he just glides that bike in.
Yeah, you can do that a couple of ways. That's either on the back brake that's making the rear almost lock, that's turning but not turning at full road speed, or you can sometimes do it on the gearbox depending on what clutch you've got in and what slip settings on the clutch.
Because he did between 1994 and 1997 as a lad. He was racing motocross. He was the Ulster Schoolboy Motocross champion in 1996. But he also did stuff like he finished runner-up in a grass track championship, and he did barley stubble field racing and stuff like that. So he knows how to operate a bike off-road and slide it about.
Well, I've heard a couple of people say that Seeley is an exceptional off-roader still to this day. Does still practices quite a lot, and he's really good.
And again, we perhaps see him glide up the inside. He's got the space this time, and look at that beautiful drift on the brakes. Monroe has to give way, and right behind the two of them now, that really gorgeous blue Yamaha of Lee Johnston. Johnston, who always rides number 13, and a number avoided by most people on the racetrack. Yeah, he lives local to you now in Halifax, doesn't he?
No, he's actually Brighouse now, but he's bought a house in, and will be moving to Huddersfield. So he's going to be only about a mile. He's moving closer. I don't know whether there's something he's not telling me, but he parks his motorhome up at my place because I've got a bit more room on my drive, and it's really moving. It's a bit messy for him at the minute. And if there's ever any fallouts, I say, right, I'm putting your rent for your motorhome parking up, and he says, you don't charge me anything. He said, you can double it if you want. Still nothing. He comes late.
Looking up the inside of Monroe. Oh, yes, and despite the lad dropping a foot, he still goes through. So the Ashport Racing bike goes through now.
At the front, Kennedy still leads by about half a second. If you're winning half a second, you're fairly close in these conditions.
Rory Skinner's now up to 9th place. His last lap was his fastest lap, 54.4, and that put him at absolutely the same speed as Alistair Seeley in the mid-pack.
So look, where's the leaders? Yeah, you see a little back marker in between Kennedy now number 1 and Brad Jones. And this is absolutely fantastic for Kennedy, just what he needs. And it looks like he might even get a little Irishman in the form of Lee Johnston in between himself and Seeley as well, because Lee looked like he was pushing a bit and had a quicker lap than Seeley last lap round.
He did by a couple of tenths, didn't he?
Yeah, he got held up at the hairpin. I think he's got a bit of pace, Lee. There you go.
Oh, and there he goes. Drops underneath. He looks confident round here. I think the road racers tend to like this place, James. It's a kind of bouncy, up and down, kind of slightly roadsy feel to it as a track. Alistair Seeley, number 34, again has number 64, Sam Monroe, targeting him here. So the Aberdeenshire boy right behind the lad from Carrick Fergus.
I'm not sure whether...
He's gone down and taken Seeley out. That's a critical moment here, absolutely critical in the championship. Seeley will score nothing, Kennedy's could score 25, and the gap will be savagely cut to 5 points at the top of the championship.
That's terrible for Seeley, just what you didn't need. He's really safe in these conditions, but what you can't bank on is some look at bike 2nd and 3rd in short. So that's Seeley, Monroe. Watch, Monroe drops it wide round the outside. This is from the wide angle. Look, loses the front. Oh! Yeah, that's a classic wet weather kind of lunge that took a long time to sort of play out with that. I can tell you what, from on board that bike at Monroe's, that would have been going on for minutes. You know, he'd have known he was in a little bit of bother there, squeezed a bit too much brake.
And understandably, Alistair Seeley is upset with the young man from Aberdeen.
Absolutely, yeah. And there's no way he meant to do that. The lad was racing for himself, and you know, you have a go and that's it, and these conditions promote that kind of thing.
Meantime, at the front, hang about, perhaps 25 points aren't secured for Jack Kennedy because Brad Jones has hauled him back in.
Well, the kind of gloves are off a little bit now. If these lads, depends what signals they get and what they know about the Seeley incident, because they're going to come round and probably going to see Seeley's bike leaned up against the barrier. They'll guess then, unless their lap signal's going to tell them Seeley out. And
there's only 13 points in the championship table between these two.
Yeah, exactly.
So this is, if Brad Jones can actually win this race, he'd take another 5 points out of that 13.
Exactly, yep.
And things do get tight.
Yep.
Okay, so Jack Kennedy's going to have to work for this then. So the man with the Irish shamrock there on his helmet from Dublin against the young man from the southwest. The mild-mannered Brad Jones. I think he's one of these lads who changes a bit when he gets on a motorbike.
There's plenty of them.
So this is quite a nail-biter between these two. Kennedy knows that he's got...
Well, he's going to be last lap, so it's going to be Kennedy now. I don't think that Brad... You know, yeah, the short races there, even in the wet.
The laps have come round so fast, I didn't realise. So Kennedy then leading the way into the hairpin. May or may not be aware of what's happened behind him, but this is going to be a crucial victory. Kennedy takes it and slashes the gap in the championship down to 5 points. Second place for Bradley Jones, and 1-2 for the Integro Yamaha. And Lee Johnston, the occasional visitor that we always welcome most warmly back to the BSB paddock, takes third place for Ashcourt Racing Yamaha. Kyle Ride will win the GP2 class in fourth place. Ben Wilson has come through to fifth place, and Rory Skinner from the absolute back of the pack has come through to sixth place on the Chris Walker-backed Kawasaki. So if young Skinner actually gets to start where he's meant to start in the second race, then who knows, he could be a race winner. Great
little rider is Skinner. Desperately unfortunate for Seeley that.
So Alistair Seeley trudges off the track. So Jack Kennedy there then is the race winner in a mere 13 minutes and 41.8 seconds round Knockhill, the 1.266 mile circuit. He then moves within 5 points of championship leader Alistair Seeley, who was unlucky to get punted out on the EHA Racing Yamaha. Victory then for Jack Kennedy. Still loves that number 4 look on the back of his leathers. So Kennedy rolls into pit lane, and he's going to be a very happy man, he and his family, after that result. So Seeley, Monroe and Jake Archer are the non-finishers. 20 riders finished the race, and this is the result. Kennedy eventually takes it by 0.78 of a second from Brad Jones. Lee Johnston in third. Kyle Ride leads the GP2 bags from Jamie Perrin and Mason Law. Ben Wilson, an excellent fifth for Gear Link, and Rory Skinner comes from right to the back of the pack to take sixth. Other point scorers in 11th place, we've got Bradley Peary, Ross Twyman on the second Gear Link Kawasaki, James McLaren, Harry Truelove, Jorrell Boorboom is the fourth GP2 bike. That means points then for Phil Wakefield, Kurt Wheatley and even Alan Naylor on the Donkey Box Racing Yamaha. The Dickies British Supersport Championship after 9 races. Alistair Seeley with a 5-point advantage now over Jack